Government of the people. If we suppose various families together with stray individuals to be wrecked on a desert island, we can understand how, finding themselves in a common predicament, they will sometimes cooperate and sometimes quarrel. And then leaders will spontaneously appear who, by the force of their words and actions, will secure the obedience or acquiescence of their companions. A government will have thus arisen. Its function will not be to defend the territory which is not being attacked, nor to build houses or occupy lands, since everyone will be quick to do so for himself in his own fashion. No one will have had prior possession of the soil, or will put forth ideal prerogatives as a prophet. The function of this government will be only to control such voluntary cooperation as there may spring up among the people, and to settle their contentions by natural equity or common law. Individuals and families will look after themselves, and government will interfere with them only when they interfere with one another. It will have nothing to govern except the people. It is not, however, in this purely social function that governments are interested. Their concern is chiefly with the resources and political greatness of their dominions, and the constant stream of anonymous inhabitants that are born and die there preoccupy them only as tenants of the land, laborers in the mines, soldiers and sailors, taxpayers, and persons who otherwise the rulers wish to see flourishing in the state committed to their care. Had Abraham Lincoln this broad contrast in mind when, in his Gettysburg speech, he defined the ideal character of American democracy? If he had, he was giving to the first phrase in that definition, a government of the people, a more realistic, historical, and descriptive meaning than it carries today when it is perfunctorily repeated. I remember what violent emphasis in the 1870s and 1880s, boys declaiming at the Boston Latin School and other orders generally would lay on 3 prepositions in that formula, shouting almost angrily that a government of the people, by the people, and for the people should not perish from the earth. Nobody, except me, felt that the phrase of the people might have been originally a calm, objective, genitive, implying, if anything, that the people required a government. And the language of the Gettysburg speech is so noble, so sober, and so carefully studied that even now I doubt that Lincoln, in composing it, could have meant that first phrase to be a vaguer anticipation of what the second and third phrase announce explicitly. But in the popular mind, with frequent repetition, rhythm, and enthusiasm, have merged the whole into a ritual symbol, and that legal objective genitive has become decidedly possessive. It means that the government to be preserved shall be not only democratic in form and beneficent in operation, but precious and dear in itself, popular and homely, the people's own government, to be drawn from one's very vitals, is indeed the radical sense of the genitive case. So that, grammatically as well as emotionally, this reading of the clause, a government of the people, is legitimate. But what does it signify politically? This expression, the people, though now often used to designate all the inhabitants of a region or of the globe, retains a rhetorical and political quality that limits it rather to one class of the total population. The official title of the Roman Republic, Senatus Populusque Romanus, explicitly distinguishes the people from the patricians or original landed families, and it ignores the slaves and aliens altogether, who may sometimes have outnumbered the plebeian citizens. And there was another people to whom, at least, The Puritans in America felt themselves akin, the chosen people of Israel, even more sharply opposed to mankind in general, or to the mixed population of great cities or recognized states, even apart from that religious and moral idiosyncrasy felt by those who call themselves the people. There were, in almost all American colonists, bitter memories of proprietary monarchy and landlord tyranny. If a government was necessary at all, let it at least be composed of persons of their own class, knowing their needs and sharing their thoughts. No government, then, of aristocrats. No king, no priest, no landlords, no generals, no bureaucrats, and, they might have added, prophetically, no professional politicians. Let all officials be plain men, drawn for a short time of service by the general voice of their comrades, from the plough, the mine, the workshop, or the counting house. And let them, since power corrupts, return soon to their old occupations, to drink in again the healthful atmosphere of labor and the rude but sound wisdom of unlettered men. Such is, as the people understand it, the true burden of the phrase, a government of the people. It is obvious, however, and soon confirmed by experience, that as the business of government becomes complex, and it is complex beyond imagination, specialists may become employed to prepare its plans and to execute them. The common people must trust, in most things, the judgment of others. And how shall they decide whose judgment to trust? Waves of contagious feeling sweep through the public, and on these waves, men of eloquence and tact rise and turn to power. How far can the government of the people, in these circumstances, remain the people's own government?